I'm Turk Strongman at Theron Q Amateur Rockin'. Thank you for selecting this video on your most important thoughts, just as a provisional name. But before I continue with the content here, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, now's your chance. Go ahead and do it. Why? Because then you can activate the notification bell feature and be apprised of my new uploads. You can also share the joy of this channel right now with others. Give this video a thumb up, lest you forget to do it later. Most important thoughts. Look, there are going to be times in your existence, your being here, your cosmic sojourn, whatever you want to call that, all right? For your duration, in your duration, there are going to be times when you are up against something that you're not going to change. And it's vicious, or it's extremely important in your considerations. If you were to think of like a couple of times that may arise from time to time during the length of your existence, moments, situations, states of affairs in which you are going to want to have a certain quality and quantity, actual content of your thoughts that you can invoke right then and there, if need be. If it's not a more continuous thing with you, but when such moments happen, you can, like in the most extreme case here, invoke it and maintain it. Consider, I'll give you some examples. And while I do, consider all the practice, all the things that you either could do or will, that you could do, but you might not do, right? All of the possible things that would have had to be the case in your experience, in your decisions, in your actions, leading up to this moment with this content that you better have, right? All the training, all the practice has gone into making that happen, making that possible at such times. I mean, these are times like, here's one. It's kind of minor in the long picture because it is probably going to happen so many times. It becomes trivial. But it helps us understand, move in the direction in which I'm going with this, like the nature of such states of affairs or moments. But here's one, like whenever have you ever heard of an ignisec? An ignisec. This is just an analogy here, kind of humorous one. An ignisec is a moment here, like it's just a small interim of time. Like it's the duration between when you let go of the car door handle after pushing it to close. You let go of the handle. The moment between then and when you realize the keys are still in the car. And then the door is shut. That interval in there is three things. You let go of the door. You let go of the moving door now, right? The thought, oh shit, my keys are in there. And then the third event is door shut. That interval there, that second step, that's an ignosec. That's how long it takes. And that's the nature of it, the quality of an ignosec. Okay, it's a bigger one, right? Same thing. The interval, the duration in between when you lose control of the car I'm not talking about slow driving through town. I'm talking about this is serious. This is serious. The moment between when you lose control of the car and when you hit. That is an ignosec. Now here's the question. Remember, I said this one's kind of trivial, but it's definitely, it gets our attention here. Remember that. Now, the question is, at that time, when that happens, during that ignosec, what do you want to be the content of your thought? That sounds kind of like worthy of attention, right? But we're just trying to like get ourselves pointed in a direction here. Remember, for like the bigger moments in the overall picture of our time. Consider the consequences of it, though. I mean, what if at the end of that ignosec, your body's going to be, it's going to instantly be a corpse. All right? Now, what if the content of your thought, when that happens, has a huge impact on what happens next? What about that? That's not far-fetched. I know of an area of Tibetan thought that is quite, well, almost the same as that. I mean, it is that. It has to do with the Bardos, I believe. Anyway, yeah, what about that? Okay, so what do you want to be the content of your thought? Now, what about a bigger situation here now? Right? You're going to rub elbows during this cosmic day in this universe or multiverse. You're going to rub elbows. Whatever of you is going to be, maintain continuity through the cosmic day. True self, let's say. Let's call it that. That's pretty damn good. All right. The true self with its causal chain. All right. All right, so during all this time, you're going to run into entities. Yes, you're going to rub elbows with same ones. And they will come and go. They will come and go. Now, of course, you're not going to have the same personality, the same memories, the same experience going on, the same emotional states going on a long time from now. No, but there must be something that you want to have constant in your mind at moments when you are experiencing, right in the middle of the experience. You are right at the center of it. And what you're facing or what you're dealing with and what you are completely immersed in is the presence of a being that you know about and it absolutely cripples you. I mean, or you have to adopt a certain point of view, a certain specific set of thoughts that are very firm in your mind to get control of that intensity of experience in your cosmic sojourn, when the content of your thought right then is extraordinarily, unbelievably, unfathomably consequential. And like before, worst case scenario, you just have to invoke that thought content and hold it in freeze frame. Maintain it, and then clarify it as a mental image and turn up its volume as mental auditory, the auditory side of it. And hold it without wavering until you decide to. What about that? What about the strength of that? What about the practice of that? There will be times like that. Rubbing elbows. The more you get involved in your experience, the more you are aware of, the more you are integrally interpenetrative with actual experience, the more formidable may become affairs for you as opposition, opponents, influences, forces, beings, entities, powers. Expect it. They're along the way. You must have developed habits, prerequisites for this, developed, many of which have their own prerequisites, and so on, step by step. The right practice, the right thinking, the right doing, and it's systematically, methodically planned out, knowing why each step is done, and done with that knowledge intentionally and willfully. Where do you learn just one little thing, like in an extraordinarily formidable situation, maintaining a sound in your head, a specific thing, right? Sound, a sound bite, whatever, right? And you can turn up its volume. You can control all aspects of it at will when you need it most. Everything goes into a certain set of thoughts, a group of thoughts, beliefs, understandings, whys and wherefores, exactly the content that you would like to have, that you consider you should have at a time like that. Invoke it and maintain it. Where do you learn how to do that in a situation like that? Huh? Consider the gravity, the amplitude, the thoroughgoingness, the thoroughness, the comprehensiveness of an experience like that. Huh? Will you be prepared? Because these things, they just happen. They happen. How do you plan your course? How are you navigating? How are you plotting your course? You're thinking right now, of all that it would take to make that happen, or to allow that to happen, to have control over that. During the most formidable events in your sojourn, man. When this thing, that has this duration, your core of being, however we call it, right? We'll ever face, the most, is that what I was saying? Most difficult? Yeah, what would go into it? What would go into it to being able to control that? So consider all the practice, all the different things that go into that. Okay? Now, you think of anything else now, too. Let's call that number one. Number two, think of something else now. Something that have a lot of prerequisites along these same lines. such as maximizing, like just developing your control over your attention, your mental focus, so keenly after all the practice and the prerequisites for that practice to make it the most efficient, which may have their own smaller bit prerequisites. The basics, fundamental components of, like a little technique here, a little technique there, go into a method of action, which involves more than one technique, build those into a way of being, and let's say what we're getting out of this, we've geared it up so that we have like amazing ironclad control over our attention, right? And then for the purpose of using that control, that level of attention for other things, such as the attention required to develop the ability to do that other thing, number one. Well, let me tell you this. Whatever we name, being able to call on, invoke thought content and maintain it and turn up its volume and so forth during the most extremely formidable, times, all right? We could point to that, or this other thing, anything we point to like this, to actually make happen, to carry it through, to see it through, involves all the others. So how many others are there? No. Really? It's everything about you, including your true self, the center core of your being that just never changes throughout. Coming to have awareness of that, coming to it's real, it becomes real in you. It is. And you make it real then, that's the core and how things are happening from there, and things are happening, but it doesn't change. But things are operating from there. What things get affected, get changed, get altered, get prepared, get lined up through time and practice, right thinking, right concentration, and so forth. There's everything else about you that does change. That's what. Well, how many other things are there that all work together to make these most important things work right? at will. Well, it's everything about you. Personal involvement involves involvement of your way of being. Has many components, and the first thing you have to do to get toward these kind of ends is to decide that you consent to doing it, because you take it to be that it is your duty. Now, sure, it's in your own best interest, but strip away all reasons for action that are like that. I'm going to let you know, or you ultimately have to end up in whittling it down. You're going to come up with out of a sense of duty. You consent to go ahead and work in these directions, understanding their place, your place in them, their place in you, that, understanding such affairs for what they are, and meeting them head on. You have to decide, right, first of all. And why do it? Why make that decision? Because it's your duty. Period. Duty. Connected to what? Duty. Well, to what? Duty implies, your duty to something. Because your duty to the universal will, your duty to what's really going on in the entire multiverse, all of manifestation, all cosmic manifestation is the law of evolution at work. And all individualized centers within it, centers of experience, perception, control, language, forms of communication with other parts. Those all have, the same characteristics with respect to the law of evolution that's going on. There are ways it works. It's an inner drive. You push toward becoming more, attaining more consciousness, attaining more self-knowledge, attaining more joy. Attaining more expression. So it's your duty to do all that. Right? Then you have to do it. So how are you going to piece all that together? Somehow in this lifetime. How are you going to do that? That's a lot to think about now, isn't it? I seem to be talking about things that are too monumental to ever take seriously. How could I even be serious? What the heck? Like, about me. This guy is out there, man. This guy makes a lot of sense. This guy seems like he's real. And honestly, this stuff sounds, it's very reasonable. It's rational thinking, right? It passes the test of reason. And you know what? It seems like, intuitively, you kind of like, if you think about it a lot, you're going to arrive at, you have this intuition, or this insight, insight that you tap into now, because now you're thinking about it, right, about the, it passes the test of reason, and you get this inner feeling all of a sudden, like, that just sounds true. It seems like, yeah, that's probably it. Yeah. Yes, yeah. It rings intuitively true. Okay. Where am I going? I don't know. What was I saying? I have no idea. I have no idea what I was saying, what I'm talking about. What was it? What do you want to have at those moments? Well, yeah, where are you going to find all of it put together for you? I don't know what to say here. It's here on my channel. I say it a lot, one way or another. In numerous videos, among my nearly 800 now, guys. How are you going to find your way through all these videos? I have no idea. They're grouped pretty well. That's a lot of stuff. There are some that get much more down to the fundamentals of things very well laid out. You know, like the most important videos. There are some. But they don't say this is, their names don't say this is one of the important ones. This is one of the biggies. This is the ones to get under your belt first. This lays down the foundations, Excuse me. How am I going to rename them? That would be silly. No. I just hope you can find them. You know what's even more impresses itself upon me more, upon my awareness more, is that even if you find those, now and then I point out what they are in certain other videos. I try to leave hints, okay? I try to give directions, a site map thing. But if you find them, there's a good chance you're not going to do anything that there is to be done once you have the content, in your mind now from the video. Once you hear it, once you've considered the meanings of the words, right? Let them in. Understand the meanings. Have paid attention to those meanings while you're hearing them. Okay? If you've done that, you're probably not going to do anything about it. But there's a lot. In all my videos, I think that they all involve a what to do. Here's what to do. Some of them are almost entirely. Others, I don't think there are any that have no component of it at all, no aspect of it at all. And where practical instruction is given in these videos, all of them, I think it's pretty well laid out. I try to make it as clear as possible. But what do you do with it? I want to know what you're waiting for if you do nothing with it. You ask yourself, man. I don't give a hoot what you are waiting for, really. I'm just curious. I don't want to know what it is. It doesn't matter to me. But I want you to figure it out. What are you waiting for? I'm asking this rhetorically because I think it's strange. I sit here, I live thinking of these things. It's about the only things I know how to think about. Very well. Really. Everything else I'm not even interested in everything else. It all seems like a fog. Oh, yeah. I have no interest outside of this stuff, really. I think of this stuff, right? And it just seems natural to me that somebody who encounters this, any part of this, on a YouTube channel, that it doesn't pop up in people's queues very much. And when it does, or if somebody searches for something and there's one of my videos, It doesn't have a lot of views, and there aren't a lot of subscribers, you know, in the text there along with the video. Number of subscribers and number of views. I think they go with all. No, they don't. Anyway, you hover over them, I think you get. All right. Nonetheless, people aren't going to be very likely to click on any one of them, but some do. Then they listen. So I want to ask you. Put yourself in that state of affairs again. It's probably the way you found this channel anyway. You just kind of like came across it. Stumbled on it. Something popped up. Right? Now you're here. You listen to a video, you listen to another one, you make a comment at some point. This is absolutely something like, you know, been watching your channel for 2 years. You just say that out of the blue, after 2 years. Been watching your channel for 2 years. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Or whatever. Something like that, okay? This is the way it goes with a lot of viewers. What are you waiting for? If it's all this cool to you, if you pass the test of reason and it rings intuitively true, and it seems like something you're probably not going to get the same angle on, or even similar specific content, you're probably not going to find it anywhere else. And you realize that. What is it that you really want? If you get to a third video here in this channel, and you watch that, you have set up a pattern. 3. You have a pattern going on. You have the very rudiment start to develop a mental habit too. You get to 21 occasions in a row, you have the foundations laid down for a mental habit that may be difficult to change. Right? 3 in a row, you're setting yourself up a pattern. What are you doing here? Now, what are you doing here? You know, that you answer that yourself. And now the question you ask yourself is, what am I doing with this information? Am I thinking about it sometimes? Is that what I'm doing with it? Am I going back and re-listening to a part now and then? Is that what I'm doing with it? When do I think about it? How many times do I think about something that really, passed my test of reason and rang intuitively true to me, for God's sakes, and had to do with something, something to do. And, you understood the reasons and so forth, but now you can't remember it. Or you think of it again and you're driving. You can't do anything about it, and then it slips your mind. Is this the way you're interacting with it? Or are you doing 2 things? Number 1, slowing down at that point, looking at the videos here. And just slowly, you develop a method to efficiently and effectively kind of like browse through them all, like speed reading, beginnings and ends of chapters of material, things like that, reading, scanning paragraphs and so on. In that sense, get familiar with the channel. And number 2, sticking to, let's say, that third video, what it says to do, and then just, doing that. and do both of these in parallel with one another until you can figure out what to move to next. Is that what you're doing? Most likely not. So where's your sense of duty, huh? Where's your personal integrity? You can think of something more important to work on in your existence, huh? I'd like to know what it is. It has to pass my test of reason and ring intuitively true to me. If anything even seemed to come close to that, I'd have to put a lot more time into it to figure all this out now. And I probably won't do it. Really. You have a gold mine here, and I don't know. Are you doing anything with it? Because from where I sit, it seems like insanity, utter stupidity, ignorance, consciousness hijacked, perception deceived, ways of going about things that I can imagine. From where I'm sitting, what about from where you're sitting? You know it's true. Right now, you know it's true. You know it's true. Be honest, bright with yourself. Now, the extent to which you understand the truth of that, and, between that and what you're actually doing along these lines, is the extent to which you're not going to feel right now unless you start doing more. Or it won't affect you, not even this, in which case I don't want you back here on my channel because you're not human. There's something wrong with you, or something very different about you. If you're human, there's something extremely wrong. If you're not human, then it's different enough for me, in either case, to say stay away. It's not for you. It's not for you. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And I honestly don't want to think that I have put my time into, something that wastes people's time. Or people, wasting mine, in a sense. I just don't want to be connected with it. But, hey, whatever, right? Whatever happens. So who are you, huh? Who are you? Who do you think you are? Do you understand what I'm getting at? I think you do. So what are you going to do about it? When? When? Huh? When are you going to step up to the universe, to the universe of universes, to the universe's life principle, to the universe's primal vibration, to the universe's evolvement, right? To its will, to the direction it goes. When are you going to step up to that? The whole thing. You. And say, I'm joining in. I'm here. I'll do it. When? You know it's what you need to do. So stop fooling around here. Either do something or leave my channel. It's not for you. And I can feel some of you. I can feel it. Not through the computer, not through the laptop or anything. I can feel it right now coming into me, coming into my body. The effect, the influence, the presence of a few people in the world who are wasting time here. I can feel it. And I want you to leave. You don't belong here. Go away. I know you're there. The rest of you, do something. I'm not going to be on this earth for a long time. Not here in this physical plane, this physical body. There will be a moment, an instant, during which it becomes a corpse. I don't know how many more videos I will make between now and then. I don't know that any more videos are going to do any more work. Almost 800 here. If I can make it to 1,000, that 1,000th one will be the last. And that'll be what that last one is about. That is 1,000 now. 500, 800, 1,000, what difference does it make? By then, at that point, no one of them is going to get you get into action any more than any of the other ones. Hey, it is your duty, right? I mean, isn't it what there is to do? You think about it. You think about the entire duration of your time, your existence, your isness, your being, your experience in this cosmic day. When are the important moments? And are you going to be ready for them? Or are you going to... Look, you go to school, you go to elementary school, there are some things that are really important in the classroom. And there are some things that aren't that important. You know, if you drop your pencil, it's not that important. If a boy pulls the girl's hair in front of him, it's not that important. You know? But if he pees on her while she's sitting at her desk, you know, in her chair in front of him, and we're listening to the teacher, and he pees on her, now that's a little bigger. But then there are other things you could do that are really important, you know. Well, in the same way, in our entire journey here, there are some things that, most things aren't all that important, really. But there are some things that are. Whose responsibility is it? Whose duty is it? To be honest, you know, with yourself about that state of affairs. What are you doing? I mean, really, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is it that you're doing? It's almost like asking, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing? What are you up to? Yeah, there you go. Hey, you, what are you up to? There you go. Make a decision. It's not going to go away. You like this video? Did you last? Give it a thumb up. In fact, if you lasted this long, give it 2 thumbs up. All right. Subscribe, get notified. share the joy of the channel with others. Thanks for selecting this video on, what did I say? Your thought content at the most important times. Well, I'm Theron Q. I'm Turk Stallman at Theron Q. Ramager. Be well.